Hi mommies and daddies, welcome back to Momcom India. In this video, we'll be talking about potty problems in kids who are 1 year and above. A lot of parents write to me about concerns related to potty. They feel that their kids have suddenly become constipated, they don't potty every day, or they are pooping a lot of times in a day, though everything is fine. And with Kabir, who's now 2 years old, I have also experienced a lot of changes in this activity, especially in the last 1 year. So basis these changes, I'm making a video where I'm talking about what are the problems that I feel lead to all these concerns and what could be the possible solutions. And I'm hoping this video is going to help you in case this is a topic that interests you. So if you do like the video, please hit on the like button and definitely subscribe to our channel. Now let's get started. Okay, so let me start with my experience. So what I saw is that post Kabir started his solids journey, which was around 6 months, there were a lot of changes in the way he would poop, the poop color, the texture, everything underwent a lot of change. And initially I understood, my doctor also explained it to me, that it's absolutely normal. As they get introduced to different kinds of food, as their appetite increases and they take more solids compared to milk, all these changes are bound to happen. So I was pretty okay with that. And we've never really had problems with Kabir in terms of him being a constipated child, or him not pooping, or he crying because of not being able to poop properly. But what I saw is that after he turned 1, especially when he started walking, I think life for him went through a 360-degree change, because what happens is that as kids start becoming independent, especially with walking and running, they now have access to anything and everything around them, obviously under supervision, but they basically have just so much to explore that pooping, I feel, is not one of the most favorite activities that kids enjoy. There are some exceptions where kids really enjoy pooping as an activity, because I think parents make it a lot of fun. But I saw that, this is not his favorite activity. There were days when he would poop 2 to 3 times in one day, absolutely normal, no loose motions. And there were days that he would not poop for 2 days. And then, I started talking to a lot of mommy friends that I have. I started reading a lot of comments about this. And I started talking to mommy friends who have kids elder also, not the 2-year age, but elder kids also. And they would also tell me about these concerns that winters my child is also not pooping regularly, or my child has suddenly become constipated. And I felt that very easily, just because of these changes that happen in kids, we start referring them as constipated kids. That's not a term that we are proud of or we like, because obviously we feel that the child will be in a lot of discomfort, which means the parent will be in discomfort. But we term them as constipated kids, which I felt is not really the right thing to do, because if you closely monitor or analyze your child, you will actually see that there are very few cases where, yes, genuinely the child is constipated. The child, the poop that comes out is really, really hard. The child has to put in a lot of pressure. At times there is bleeding, or the poop area turns red also. The child cries a lot. All of these are genuine signs that the child is constipated. But in a lot of other cases, kids are pooping after 2 days and they are absolutely fine. They are happy. They are not showing any sign of discomfort. The poop that they do is absolutely normal. But parents are worried that, something is happening to my child, because we've always learnt as we grew that, pooping is an activity that you do on a daily basis to ensure that all the toxins and all the waste is out of your body, you feel clean, and you are ready for starting a new day. So this is generally an activity that you do every day in the morning. So basis my research, I came up with 3 reasons why there are a lot of pooping related concerns that happen with kids, or concerns that bother parents after kids cross the 1 year mark. Number 1 problem is that genuinely the kid is constipated, and this problem can happen because of multiple reasons. The prime reason being that after 1 year, a lot of parents make this transition from breast milk to cow milk or any other animal milk, or formula milk to cow milk or any other animal milk. And animal milk is not very easy to digest. It has a lot of complex protein in it, which can be hard on the child's body. So, that leads to genuine constipation problems. Or with some kids, what happens is that genuinely certain foods cause constipation, like bread, like pasta, like banana. In some cases, not all. Banana rarely causes constipation, but some cases, yes, it can cause constipation. Some kind of rice also leads to constipation for some kids. But then yes, some foods really cause constipation in kids. Number 3 is that their water intake. As they grow up, they don't feel the need to have water very regularly. Water is again a very boring activity for them. It has no taste to it, so they don't like it that much. So that's why body cannot create a balance when it comes to the solid and the water that is required to flush everything out of the system. So that is another reason why a child can be genuinely constipated. And the last reason can be that these days a lot of parents are concerned that the child is just sitting in front of the TV or in front of the mobile phone, and basically their activity level has gone down way too much compared to how we've grown up, or how times were earlier. And what happens is that when your body is not getting the activity that it should compared to the food that it's eating, it finds it very difficult to break down the complex protein or the complex food that the body has to process to ensure a smooth working of the body. And because of that also, this problem happens, because the child is just sitting, there's no activity, so the body is unable to process the food properly. So these are the major reasons why you will actually see constipation problem in kids. And these are the problems which actually require a solution through which your child won't be constipated anymore. So this is the top concern, that there is genuinely constipation because of underlying reasons. The second concern, which I find very funny but is actually true, is that kids consider this activity to be boring. Like I said, that after your child starts running and walking, they just have so much to explore. Even in a washroom where they're sitting on a pot, I think they have so much to explore: how to flush, what is the water temperature, what all is there in the washroom, different activities that they just don't want to sit there. So the 10-15 minutes that they have to sit as part of this activity so that the system gets cleared properly, they are not ready to do that. They find it to be boring, and hence they just want to escape this activity. They want to run away. You will often see that your child is giving signs that the child wants to poop, but if you ask your child, he'll say no poop, nothing, or would like to run away from the washroom, because this activity can be really boring for them. The third reason is that the child considers this activity to be quite uncomfortable, and this more happens in cases where the child is not potty trained. When children are potty trained, what happens is they are comfortable in the potty seat and they are able to poop properly. Like it happens with us also. If you're used to using a Western toilet and suddenly you are asked to use an Indian toilet, you might not be comfortable, and vice versa. So similarly with children, if they are not potty trained and they're used to do pooping in a certain way, it takes time for them to manage this entire transition, and hence they find it very uncomfortable and they just want to escape this activity altogether rather than getting into it. So that is a third problem also, why kids just escape. They just don't want to do it, and we as parents look at it as, oh my god, my child is constipated, he's not pottying. The underlying reason could be it's boring, the underlying reason could be it's uncomfortable, or the underlying reason could be it's genuine constipation because of the multiple reasons that I shared. So the question is that what do we do, or how do we address each of these problems so that we can be happy? Because I'm very sure that the day your baby does not poop, you really are worried that, oh my god, what has happened. It's equal to, oh my god, my baby has not had say dinner, or say he's not had lunch, or oh my god, he did not have milk today. So it's almost like an important part or important activity of the day has just gone missing, and you're very worried about it and you're looking for a solution for it. So let's start talking about problems one by one, and I have certain solutions listed which I will talk to you about. The first big problem, which is genuine constipation, what do we do about it? Number one is watch for the foods that are causing constipation. Like I said, in most cases it could be the milk transition. I remember with Kabir, when we transitioned to cow milk, we saw that initially he had problem with digestion. While pooping, he used to put in a lot of pressure, and we could actually see that pressure coming. His cheeks would swell, he would make that sound. So all of that would happen, and his pooping frequency was also changing. So what we did is we started diluting cow milk. milk. That helped to a great extent, but eventually we had to move away from cow milk and we had to switch to buffalo milk, to which he's adapted very well, and his pooping has been absolutely fine. So maybe these are the variations that you should try to see, because yes, it's good to give cow milk to children, but if it does not suit your child, you may want to look for options. My doctor suggested that you could give any animal milk, so we decided to go ahead with buffalo milk. So milk can definitely be one of the reasons. Apart from this, things like bread, things like pasta, I genuinely don't give these to Kabir quite a lot, maybe like once a week. But you would really have to monitor as to which is the food that has suddenly caused this change, and try to take that food out of the diet and see if the change has come back. If that's the case, then you know your problem and you know your solution, and you just need to figure it out. Number 2 is, the day you feel your child is constipated, give as many fruits that start with P, especially papaya. I think papaya does wonders not only to kids but also new moms who really have trouble passing stool, especially after delivering a baby when she has stitches and she cannot put a lot of pressure. Papaya just works wonders. Make sure that the papaya is not a raw papaya. It is fully ripe, and then you have it 2-3 times in a day. You can have it and it's just wonderful. Apart from that, you can try peaches, prunes, pears. It's very good to eat prunes empty stomach early in the morning. That also helps build the whole solution to constipation in your tummy. So you could definitely try these things, but make sure that on days which are constipation days, you have a light meal. You give your child very, very light meals, meal which is more fruit related, meal which has more juices, meals which have more water, meals like khichdi dahi, only rice and dahi. These are very, very light meals which will actually relieve the stomach and will not put more pressure on the already exhausted stomach. So just make sure that you do that, and that's how you can really solve it. Number 3 is that the fluid intake needs to go up. The body needs a lot of fluid to maintain the whole digestion process, and the best form of fluid is water. Kids who have constipation should have twice the amount of water compared to normal kids. Not only kids, elders also. But apart from that, coconut water, lemon water, these are just great. Buttermilk, curd, all of these are just superb whenever your child has constipation or loose motion. So any kind of troubles, your water intake just has to go up. The 4th one is that apply a little bit of coconut oil in the pooping area. That will just soften the whole area, just in case the child is having problem to take the initial part out, post which everything becomes comfortable. This is really going to help, and just try to push a little bit of oil inside the body too, from the pooping area. That will really help. The next one is lots and lots of activities. I'm a big promoter of kids having at least 90 minutes of playtime, and preferably outdoor playtime, at younger ages, because this is where a lot of their physical development happen. This is where the body is doing complex activities like breaking different kinds of foods which are very new to their body. So make sure that your child has a lot of playtime. These years should be remembered as more playtime for them than anything else. So just make sure that's done. The next step is apply desi ghee on the soles of the feet while the baby sleeps or during the bedtime routine. That really relaxes the baby, that really relaxes all the veins, and that will really ease out the process of the body being comfortable to flush out all the toxins. I would also suggest that for kids who have constipation problem, they must have 1 teaspoon full desi ghee, especially in their dinner. If possible, give them desi ghee throughout all their meals. Don't worry about the fat. This much of desi ghee is actually good for them. This is all healthy fat that they will burn out very soon compared to the other things that we give them, like pastas and all the sugars of the world. So make sure that you include a lot of desi ghee in their diet, whether it is rice, it is khichdi, it is roti. It should be loaded with desi ghee. That's a trick that will really do wonders. Among dry fruits and nuts, try giving them a lot of kishmish. Kishmish is something that I think all the kids, elders, everybody likes. So make sure that you give them a lot of kishmish throughout the day. It's a nice snacker. Make sure you give the child a lot of fiber-rich diet. See, what happens is that at times your child is eating well, playing also, not watching a lot of mobile or TV, is very active but still has this problem. And the reason for that could be that we are not nutritionists, so we are not nutrition experts. And at times when you you give a meal to your child, it could be high on protein and may have very less fiber, or maybe loaded with say vitamins and not have the right amount of dietary fiber needed to process the whole food. And this is where also the body at times tends to find it hard to break the food. So just make sure that you do all the other tricks that I told you to keep the entire process intact. It happens with us also, right? There are days when you eat certain food from outside, or you make some heavy spicy food and your stomach just goes for it all. It is very same for the kids also, so please don't term them as constipated kids. Just work their way through this entire journey, which is quite complicated. Apart from this, if you really think that your child is very, very constipated, you've tried everything, and when you try things, don't try them for one day and say that I've tried it and there are no results. Especially when it comes to home remedies, it takes time to show their magic. So make sure it's a regular activity with your kids. But if you think that your child is really having problem, is crying, is really in discomfort, then please speak to your doctor. Your doctor may advise you laxatives or something that can be actually inserted inside the child's pooping area, and that will go ahead and soften the entire hard poop and it will come out very easily. Generally these things you put in the night, by morning the child's stomach is absolutely clear. But my suggestion is that these things are very easily available at the chemist, over the counter. You will go tell them that my child is constipated, can I have something to clear the stomach off? They will give you whatever they feel is right. But with kids, these risks should not be taken. A, this is an unnatural process. B, you don't know the effect of something on the child's body, so make sure it's only prescribed by the doctor. One thing I used to do is that as part of my regular visits to my doctor, I always used to keep checking with her that do I need to make any changes in his first aid kit as per his age. And this also used to be my question, that if this problem comes, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Can you write it down now? So I always knew that in terms of my first aid, if ever there's a problem, I will do something like this. But fortunately I didn't have to do it till now, up to 2 years, and hopefully I don't have to do it in future, because all of these tricks have really worked for me. Now let's talk about the second problem, that the kid finds it boring and hence runs away with it. See, this is very normal. This definitely happens. This is not the most interesting activity. The best way to make it interesting is to make it engaging. When you as a parent engage with the kid in any activity, not only pooping, it can be food, it could be just anything, dropping the kid to the school, whatever, the kid definitely enjoys it and finds it to be interesting. One thing that worked for us is telling him a lot of stories during the pooping session, and in those stories bringing in people or bringing in names or characters that he's really fond of. So right from his grandparents to Avengers to now that he has friends in the park, taking their names. When you use these names or these characters and build a story around it, the child finds it really interesting, because the child really relates to these people, is fond of them and would want to hear about them. So just use these magic tricks to build a lot of stories. Apart from that, you can sing, you can take a storybook that your child can easily read there, you can put some stickers on the wall that your child will want to look at. So just these basic fun activities you can do to keep your child engaged. Don't think that you will just sit with your child in the washroom and your child will poop and all of this will be a smooth process. Majority of cases it won't. There are some that will be very fortunate, but majority it won't. And this is where the child does not poop properly and the child continues to poop 2 to 3 times a day, because his stomach is not cleared, because he was disengaged. If the child engages, lets his stomach clear properly, then overall during the day, I think the child will be pretty comfortable. The last problem, which is the child is not potty trained and hence finds this activity very uncomfortable. I've done a video already on how to potty train your child. Please go ahead and watch that. That is quite detailed. I won't be able to cover a lot of it here. But my suggestion is that don't worry too much about what's the right age to potty train a child. There's no right age to potty train a child, to each its own. So your child will take the amount of time he wants to take, or you as a parent may decide to do certain thing at certain point of time, which is absolutely okay, because there's no rule book about what's right and what's wrong. But just ensure however your child is pooping, it should be a comfortable process. If your child needs a potty seat, give him a potty seat. If your child can be put directly onto the pot, do that. We've never never used a potty seat. We've always put him on the pot, and eventually he's learned how to sit on the pot. Now he's able to hold it and sit also. We just have to keep our hands around him so that he does not fall, but eventually they find it to be interesting, comfortable, and because that's how they will be using it in future, right? So make sure that you work a way around it. So that's it. That was my analysis on how this activity changed in the last 1 year, and why did I not consider it to be a regular case of constipation, and figured out, why is there a need to do different things, because not necessarily if he's not pooped for 1 day it means that he's constipated and I need to give him all the papayas of the world and water and everything, but it could just be that he's finding it really boring because there's some interesting activity happening outside. So what trick do I have in my pocket to engage him right now? If you did find this video to be helpful, please click on the like button. Also make sure you subscribe to our channel, and definitely comment and let me know how's your experience going with your child. Thank you. Bye bye.